Welcome back to Kordia Golf Focus, and we're leaving some of the best news till last tonight as we get to the announcement of this year's Eisenhower Trophy team for 2014. This effectively is the Men's World Teams Championship being staged in Japan in September. We're joined by New Zealand High Performance Manager Greg Thorpe, who's also the manager of the National Selection Panel. So, tough task to put this team together?
Yeah, it always is. It's a big responsibility for the National Selection Panel, and I know they've taken their time to deliberate this team. OK,
tell us the three names.
Well, it's my pleasure and a privilege to announce the team. The first member of the team is Josh Munn from the Manawatu Golf Club, Vaughan McCall from the Gore Golf Club, and finally Tai Ko from the Manukau Golf Club.
Thank you, Greg. Yes, no real bolter there from the blue, and I suppose you might argue that Munn and Cope largely picked themselves. Tell me about the selection here then of Vaughan McCall, who's had some very good results overseas, particularly in 2012 and 2013. Hasn't shown the same form this year, so what's behind his selection?
No, I think clearly the selectors have gone for a mix, essentially, of experience and performance. Vaughan has been a performer now for a number of years for New Zealand teams. He was an Eisenhower member back in 2012. He was actually the leading Kiwi in that team and was tied 13th. So they've really selected a team, again, mixed in terms of experience and the performances of late. Hard to go past Tai Ko, I suppose, after winning the Australian Amateur Championship title. No, I guess if you're looking for a bolter, you know, 6 or 9 months ago, he was one of the outsiders. But look, Tai's clearly stamped his mark on the national game and also a win in Australia at the Australian Amateur. So he's really, I guess, essentially cementing his position as the #1 player in the country right now.
Yeah, Greg, I think that win over there in Australia, the first Kiwi to win the Australian Amateur since Cambo back in 1992. I've seen Tai out at the Manukau Golf Club practicing. He's a tireless worker on his game, and he's enjoyed some great success overseas in recent weeks when he's been having a campaign overseas. Yeah, I was lucky enough to be there early this year when Tai won. It was pretty special. And I guess what impressed me most was how composed he was there in that environment. You know, it's an elevated environment playing overseas, different golf courses, obviously different peer group, and he really stepped up. And look, he's continued to do that, and he's had some really good form of late through the US Northern Hemisphere summer. So it's yeah, it's exciting. I've been receiving some of his emails that he's been sending back after those tournaments, and he's certainly been logging some great experiences, not only with the success that he's had on the golf course, but what he's been learning off it as well. Yeah, I think the guys are all pretty wise now to that. They know it's not just about playing golf. There's a whole bunch that they can learn in those environments. They understand that reviewing not just what's happening on the golf course, but off the golf course is an important part of their development.
Joshua Munn, Greg, he's had quite a lot of success, hasn't he, as an amateur in the Charles Tour events here in New Zealand, which I suppose is one of the benefits of this, isn't it? He gets to play these guys 72-hole stroke play tournaments.
He does, yeah. I mean, the Charles Tour is a big part of the development of these young players. It allows almost an international type environment, but on our own doorstep, and helps prepare them for when they do head overseas. So Josh has taken the most of those opportunities. But he's an exciting player, because if he gets a sniff of victory, he's shown that he really can go on with it. And you know, I guess in terms of the makeup, he's one of those players that the selectors have looked to you know, perhaps pull out those low rounds, and we know he's capable of that.
And so, Greg, now that the team's named, what's the schedule that the guys have between now and the actual Eisenhower tournament?
Oh, look, they're busy. These 3 guys and some others are all overseas at the moment playing. Tomorrow they've got, well, tomorrow our time, Monday their time, they're playing for the qualification for the US Amateur this year. So with a bit of luck, we'll have all 3 players sneak into that, and they'll still be there well into mid-August vying for that championship.
I noticed is there a par 6 on this course you're playing at in Japan? Surely not.
Yeah, there is, the last hole on one of the courses.
And how long is it?
Phil, I think you might have that number. It's 700 and something.
My Japanese pronunciation is not very good, but I do understand 742 metres.
What?
Par 6.
Yeah, so I've certainly never seen one before. It'll be exciting.
So what's the strategy for playing this hole then?
Look, it's yeah, have 5 shots, I think, would be the simplest strategy.
Well, it'd be nice to put a different highlight up there, Tal, from the ones that we've had back in 1992. Look, it was great being there and like winning, but it'd be certainly nice for these guys to take the mantle from that 1992 team.
what is it, 22 years now since you tried to punch Grant Moorhead in the jaw.
You can only do that if you're celebrating. Really.
Yeah, well, Greg, we wish you and the team well for your adventure in Japan, and good luck on the closing hole as well. And thank you for joining us today on Kordia Golf Focus. We appreciate it.